Fight Fiends, forecasters, we're back. UFC Mexico City, going down in Mexico where there's money to be made. After a hiccup week, we got back in the win column. The dog of the week, Chris Duncan, got the win. All three locks, got the win. Not necessarily, a split decision. Robbery, again, cost us 60 units profit on that lock parlay. Nathan Fletcher for the win. Should have been a win. He didn't get it done. What in the frig were the judges thinking in that one? I know I had a lock of the week of Chris Padilla. Didn't look like he deserved it, so it's hard to complain when you get robbed. We didn't deserve to win one. We deserved to win the other. On the other hand, Kevin, Big Mouth Holland, back in the win column. The Trailblazer was a lock of the week. Off 2 losses. Gunnar Nelson hasn't fought in 2 years. So, you know what I'm saying? Gunnar Nelson, get the fuck out of here, Nelson. You're too old, too inactive, and Trailblazer should have got the knockout in round 1. It is what it is. It is what it is. Another split decision. This week, the 3 locks are not getting robbed by a decision in Mexico. Let's get this money. I got the 3 locks locked in for Platinum Forecasters, $5 a month. I got the dog of the week locked in as well. Now I got him at $5 plus 400. I'm seeing the odds at plus 240, $3.40. A significant difference. So if you want the early access to get the best value possible, sometimes I'm not posting early, but when I do, the dog of the week went from $5 to $3.40. That's a significant difference. So when you get the dog of the week on the show, you can't be mad you didn't get him for $5, because if you had $5, you could have got early access to the dog of the week. We're going to start it off with the first fight of the night. Run through the fights fast. I'll give you my pick, confidence level, and we'll try to make some money. Like the video, subscribe if you have not yet. Make sure to stay forecasted. We're breaking down each and every fight, each and every fight card of the year. All right, we've been doing this for 2-3 years. We're not going to stop. A bad week won't make me lose confidence. Locks of the week have been hot. Pretty good percentage with the lock of the week, over 70%. The dog of the week has hit in 7 of the last 8. Dog of the week's hot. I got something cooking up. I'll let you know at the end of the show if you don't figure it out by the time I get there. First fight, we're looking at Austin Hubbard versus Marquel Mederos. Mederos came off the Contender Series, got a nice win to land in Quinonez, unanimous decision. I expect him to get another decision win here to Austin Hubbard. Hubbard in the UFC had a tough run. He lost to Kurt Halaba, managed to still get a contract. I don't really think he's UFC caliber. He fought hard at the end of the fight versus Alexander Hernandez. His gas tank is good. He's fairly durable. But Mederos is just on another level. He should make you some money this week. He is a favorite. And I think he should shine in the first fight of the night. Mederos looking like a promising prospect right now. He's 5 years younger in this fight. He should have the cardio to match Austin Hubbard. And he should hit him in the face multiple times in this one. I'm going Mederos. Let's get this money. We got Jamall Emmers next. Gabriel Miranda. Miranda, pretty big underdog. Just got knocked out to Morgan Chairez. I think he's grapple heavy. Submission or bust. Miranda's just going for these submissions. And if he's not successful, if he can't get a takedown, he's basically screwed on the feet. Doesn't seem like he's making adjustments or improvements on the feet. I'm taking the better striker with a 3-inch reach advantage in this fight. Better UFC experience. More credible wins. I'm taking the favorite. A little bit wide in this one, but give me Jamall Emmers for the win. Next fight, third fight of the night. I'm taking a big favorite again. Rafa Garcia versus Vinc from hell Pichel. Pichel off a 10-month layoff and a loss to a prospect in Ismael Bonfim. I don't think he's got much left in the tank at 42. He's 12 years older in this fight. Fighting in Mexico. I gotta go with the Mexican. He's coming off a knockout loss 5 months ago. But that was to Grant Dawson, who was hungry, determined for a win. I can't say the same about Vinc from hell Pichel. He honestly probably gets smoked in this fight. Garcia, gonna get it done in Mexico. We're getting this money. Lupita Godinez, women's fight here versus Julia Polastri. What a good fight this is. Both these girls, in my opinion, aren't bad. They're not regional scene fighters. They're UFC caliber. It's going to make for a competitive fight, but I got to go with the Mexican. You got to know the judges are probably going to help them out a little bit if we need the help. And other than that, she's fought the higher caliber competition, coming off 2 losses to 2 high caliber girls. Mackenzie Dern, Verna Jandaroba. Yeah, I think she gets back into the win column in Mexico. And with the win, she improves to 13-5. And with a loss, Julia Polastri improves to 13-5. I'm liking that as well in this matchup for the Mexican. Next fight on the prelims. Looking to get paid here with Christian Rodriguez versus Melquizael Costa. Costa's an underdog. Money coming in. And he's going to be a confident underdog pick for a lot of people. I thought I was going to pick him to win too. You know, he just submitted Andre Fili round 1. You look at Julian Erosa, he submitted Christian Rodriguez pretty easy. The prospect Killa beat Austin Bashi in his latest bout. Looked pretty good. Looked good versus Rosas Jr. Looked good versus Cameron Saimon. I mean, if he doesn't get submitted, he probably wins. He submitted Joshua Weems, was it? Got that win pretty easy and a kind of choke. He looked good on the feet versus Bashi. He could probably squeeze this one out by a decision as long as he doesn't get submitted. You know, Julian Erosa submitted him not long ago. His second last fight, it's definitely doable for Melquizael Costa. He's coming off a submission win, 2 of them. If he loses, I think he gets finished. He's another guy like Gabriel Miranda. He's going for this submission. If not, it's kind of a bust. Christian Rodriguez, gonna be the better fighter on the feet. I think he can outstrike Melquizael Costa. And what we have seen so far from C-Rod, he can stop the takedowns. He can reverse takedowns, and he looks good on the ground as well. I think he's just at another level compared to Melquizael Costa. Melk ain't getting it done. You know, looking for his 8th career loss in Mexico, 8th event in Mexico. I got to go with C-Rod. He has 7 finish wins, looking for his 8th finish win in Mexico. The finish is live, but I definitely like him to win this fight. You know what I'm saying? C-Rod, just at another level, in my opinion. And the next fight we're taking a look at is one of the biggest price tags on the entire card. And it's kind of sketchy. It's not just kind of sketchy, you know it's sketchy. Because these big underdogs, unexpected underdogs, seem to be winning. Alright, the biggest favorite might not be the safest play. Ateba Gautier, though. He has a 6-inch reach advantage, 4 inches taller, 10 years younger, hits like a truck. He struggled a little bit on Dana White's Contender Series. He got it done in round 2. It takes one shot at this weight class, the heavier weight classes. With a heavy hitter, I'm going to pick him to win in round 1 by KO. Medina gets hit too much. And I can't believe he hasn't been finished by knockout yet. You know, he's cut weight, he's moved down a weight class. I still don't think he's good. Went to a decision with Zach Reese. I don't even think he can survive this one. Gautier is going to get it done by KO. The reach advantage, hits too hard. He's from Cameroon. He could be the next Francis Ngannou. I think he will be. You know, not a heavyweight champion, but at middleweight, he's going to hit different. And Medina has never fought a fighter that hits this hard. He gets hit a lot. It should result in a knockout win for Ateba Gautier. But don't get me wrong, he's the biggest favorite on the card, and he's fought terrible competition, worse than Medina. He's fought the much worse competition in this fight. He's not a lock for me. Probably not even getting to a point where I bet him by KO in round 1. The value isn't there. I'm not looking to do anything with it. And the way these underdogs are winning, the big underdogs, I might even look at sprinkling some money on Medina. Some people in my Patreon and people in Discord, which is free, already have. Medina looks to be like a fighter that could have a chance, but I'm not putting any money on him. I'm just not. I don't think Jose Medina has much of a chance. But you never know. We've seen some shit. We've seen some shite over the last couple events. Can't get overly invested in these big favorites, and why would you? There's hardly any value there. Not much money to make on Gautier. He should get it done, though. Now, we're going to talk about Edgar Chairez, CJ Vergara a little bit quick. Both these fighters have fought the same guy, Daniel Lacerda and Tatsuro Terra, in both of those matchups. Edgar Chairez looked better. He's a Mexican fighting in Mexico. This fight could go 15 and he could get it done. Or at least get some help. He has a 3-inch reach advantage. That'll help. He's coming off a loss. Motivated. CJ Vergara, definitely motivated. He's lost a couple now in the UFC. Contract questionable. Off a loss by knockout in round 1. He's been wobbled many times before. I don't even think Edgar Chairez is out of the game on the feet here. I think Edgar Chairez gets it done. I think Mexico sweeps in Mexico City. Not going to lie. CJ Vergara, kind of thought about the underdog pick here, but there's just no way I'm picking him. He didn't look as good versus Tatsuro Terra. Edgar Chairez in a debut fight looked much better versus Tatsuro Terra. One of the only guys not to get finished. Also, to Tatsuro Terra. CJ got submitted. And he struggled a little bit more with Lacerda than Edgar Chairez did. Chairez submitted him twice in round 1. Easy work. So, Vergara has been submitted a lot. He's definitely not my pick. Confident picking another Mexican in Mexico. And we're going to do it again on the main card. Like the video. Subscribe now if you have not yet. We got Ronaldo Rodriguez next. Money coming in. Money coming in. Mexican. He's heart and soul Mexican. He will fight for your money. Borjas, another guy with questionable wins on the record. His level of competition, not good. He got finished in his last fight. I think he can get finished in this fight. He's 9-3, less experienced. It's going to be some atmosphere for him. Off a loss 10 months ago. It's going to be too much. Give me the Mexican, Ronaldo Rodriguez. And I think he does get it done inside the distance, I would say. Just won a fight by a decision. Borjas, extremely finishable. I'm smelling a finish for the Mexican. Let's get this money. These Mexicans should sweep Mexico City. Each and every one of them have a favored matchup, in my opinion. I think there's one of them that I'm like, I don't know, 50-50. I actually changed my pick a couple times on it. We'll talk about it soon. But other than that, we're looking pretty safe. And now we're talking about David Martinez, 11-1, off Dana White's Contender Series. Fighting a guy that hasn't fought in over 2 years. And he got finished to Daniel Marcos, Simon Oliveira. He's a striker. I don't think he's very great. Decision or knockout. Martinez's money in this fight. He just beat Xavier Franklin, who is a much better fighter, undefeated at the time. And he passed the test in that fight. He won a unanimous decision in that fight. Now he gets an easier opponent. 18-5, don't let it fool you. With low-level competition wins, I don't think he's going to be very competitive in this fight in Mexico. Give me the Mexican David Martinez. All right, we're looking to get some money here. And in this fight, hard to disagree. Although, Oliveira seems to have a reach advantage. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to work in his favor. Another fight that looks a little set up here. Vince Morales fought a month ago, lost, got taken down, outstruck to a debut fighter, Elijah Smith. Now he's fighting Raul Rosas Jr., 10-1, one of the best Mexican prospects that they have to offer. He should fly in this fight and win easily. With the takedowns, control time, even be the better striker. I'm going with the 20-year-old, 14 years younger, looking dominant in the UFC. He got tested once, he lost, but he's going to improve from there. He's working hard, and I can't go against him in this fight. Morales looking for his 8th career UFC loss in the 8th event in Mexico, and he is 4-6 to a decision, and this is the 47th event since the UFC was last in Mexico. He's currently 4-6 to a decision. Give me Rosas Jr. by a decision. Vince Morales is improving to 4-7 via decision and getting his 8th loss in the UFC. Remember, it's the 47th event since the UFC was last in Mexico. He's improving to 4-7 via decision, and he's getting his 8th loss in the UFC, 8th event in Mexico. Although, be careful. Vince Morales could improve to 4-7 in the UFC, 47th event since last in Mexico. You never know. Some of these numbers work out, some of them don't. You got to be careful when betting big money. Make sure you know what you're doing and what you're talking about, because I've seen some stuff. I've heard some stuff. So I started doing some research, and it's been working. Look at this. The Buffalo Sabres. They got it done here. Pretty big win. Shannon Banan. There's no way in hell I was looking at betting that until a last minute notification on my phone popped up. So we had some information. You need the information. $5 a month. Join my Patreon. You heard some of the information in this bout. I'm liking Rosas Jr. by a decision. There is a chance Vince Morales can improve to 4-7. 47th event since last in Mexico, but if he wins, I'd take it by knockout because he has 7 knockout wins. And if he gets a win by knockout, that's 8. 8th event in Mexico. So we'll see what happens in this one. I'm guaranteed, locked in, that it's going to be Rosas Jr. decision or Vince Morales knockout. I got to go with my guy who's looking to get that money. The young buck. Raul Rosas Jr. Can't go against him. Won't do it. Let's get the win here. We got a big underdog. Hey, he was a big underdog. He's $3.50 now. He was $5. Kelvin Gastelum. He's fighting Joe Body Bags Pyfer. Pyfer in this fight has a 4-inch reach advantage. He's bigger. He's going to have success at range. He might be the better striker. He's 5 years younger in this fight. But he hasn't fought the more experienced fighters. And he hasn't been really tested in the UFC. The time we did see him tested to Jack Hermanson, he didn't look good. He lost a decision. Now, Kelvin Gastelum got caught in a heel hook round 1 to Jack Hermanson. But he had some nice reversals, a nice takedown in that fight. And that will work in this fight versus Joe Pyfer. Joe Pyfer isn't going to get a heel hook in this fight. At least he better not. Because Kelvin Gastelum's the dog of the week. I got in at $5. We got the closing line value by far. He has a little bit of Mexican in his blood. I think he fights like a dog. And he's coming off a win. Daniel Rodriguez, not a bad win. His losses, Jared Cannonier, Robert Whittaker, Israel Adesanya in his prime. Took Izzy to a decision. And that was the closest fight that Izzy was ever in during Izzy's prime. Now, I got to go with the dog. Mexican blood, Mexican descent, Kelvin Gastelum. He gets it done here. He's going to get the wrestling going. He's going to get the takedowns going. He could land a shot round 1 to sleep Joe Pyfer. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. If you know, he slept Michael Bisping round 1. Rewatch that fight. What a beautiful knockout for Kelvin Gastelum. Sometimes you forget, man. Well, I didn't forget. And I think someone else out there knows something, maybe. Or they have the same feeling that I do, and they're putting their money on him. He went from $5 to $3.50 for a reason. It might even go to $3 by Saturday. So just join Patreon, $5 a month. I posted my bet on him Sunday at $5. We got the closing line value. But you got to get that early access if you want bets like this in the future. Not all the time. Very rarely have we seen line movement like this. But, you know, it could be wrong. Let's not get overconfident in any of the picks. We got to bet with... What's the word? Discipline. Bet with discipline. Manage the bankroll wisely. Stay composed. You're going to lose a couple if you manage the bankroll wisely. Put more units on more confident plays. You can still have fun. Put a bunch of quarter unit bets down. And then still have your bigger 10 unit bets, 5 unit bets. Manage the bankroll wisely. Stay determined. Disciplined. Don't give up on yourself. I don't think Gastelum at 33 has given up on himself. I think Gastelum gets the win, in my opinion. So, dog of the week, lock it in at plus 240. I think is the odds now on this. Holy fuck. I got him at $5 on Sunday. It's only Tuesday, and he's down to 340. That's crazy. Someone must know something. Or we're all completely wrong. Looking at Tapology, though, let me pull this up. I don't even think many people are picking him on Tapology. So the line movement, I think it's sharp. That's what I'm saying. Normally when people on Tapology are taking one underdog, it never hits. I understand that, but I don't think many people are taking Gastelum against Joe Pyfer. Let me check it out. Have a drink. Have some liquid courage. I'm very intrigued to figure out what the percentage is now on this one. Gastelum, 14% of people picking him. Crazy line movement. I think it's sharp. I do. But he is my dog of the week. A little bit biased. Let's get a bag. This is the fight. This is the Mexican. I don't know what to do. He's fighting Dober. Dober hits like a truck. Dober's durable. Has been. He's fought Jean Silva, who ended up getting the doctor stoppage in that last bout. And honestly, Dober took way too much punishment. He takes a lot of punishment. And sometimes being durable isn't good for you when you get to 36, 37 years old. You might not hold up anymore. Manuel Torres, super fast, quick with the hands, calculated, determined off a loss. I think he will get back into the win column. He's just going to be too quick for Drew Dober. He's going to land a shot. He has potential on the ground for a submission, but Drew Dober is hard to submit. I think Manuel Torres gets it done on the feet. Durable Drew Dober, I don't know. Is it going to hold up? Maybe it does. That's why I was 50-50 swapping back and forth on this pick. Drew Dober could knock out Manuel Torres. Pretty easy. Manuel Torres is not the more durable fighter. He'll get knocked out much easier, in my opinion. But he's too quick. And I think he'll be too calculated, trying to stay out of the way of the power, not get into a firefight, maybe win it by a decision, and just pick apart Drew Dober at range. You know, he has a 3-inch reach advantage. He's a lot younger in this fight. He's probably not going to want to drop the bag in front of his Mexican fans like he did at UFC Noche. I think he gets back into the win column, but look at him fight. All round one knockouts, all finishes. He might have one decision win, but he goes out there for the finish round one. If he does that in this fight, he could get caught, but that's the consequences in this game. It's mixed martial arts. Anything can happen at any time. Manage the bankroll wisely. Pick your spots wisely. Nothing's a guarantee. Everything's a gamble. when you're gambling. Remember that. Don't bet what you're not willing to lose either. That's another thing. Locks of the week or not. Don't bet what you're not willing to lose. Manage the bankroll wisely. Stay disciplined. And let's keep the momentum rolling forward. Let's keep that energy up here. We don't need to be down here getting low on ourselves, beating up on each other. You know we got to beat up on these bookies. So let's come together, win together. Main event fight here. Let's all pick the same fighter and make some money on this one. We've all been disagreeing on previous main events. We've all been struggling for the most part. It's hard. The main event, the two best fighters on the card. The two highest caliber guys or girls. In this one in particular, we got a flyweight fight. These guys are fast and they are high caliber. As you know, Brandon Moreno, former champion. Steve Erceg, former title challenger.
Steve Erceg, I don't think he's getting it done.
And he looks like the guy from The Office. He is calculated, high IQ. He's a good point fighter. But damn, he just got knocked out round 1 to Kai France. He didn't look overly impressive versus Pantoja. He survived to a decision. He had his moments, but he might have very few moments in this fight versus Moreno, just like he did in his last bout. He didn't look good in his last one 7 months ago. Brandon Moreno, in his last fight, he looked phenomenal. Unanimous decision win to Amir Albazi. A lot of yous, some of yous picking Albazi for the win there. Albazi was 17-1, but Brandon showed up. He got a bag. And I don't think he's going to struggle in this fight. Former champion, 31 years old. He's fought Fig in his prime multiple times. Beat Fig when no one else could. He gets it done. He stays on 8 losses in the 8th event in Mexico. And he beats Steve Erceg, who's going to be 3-3 in the UFC in Brandon Moreno's 33rd fight. So Brandon Moreno has 32 fights. He's fighting his 33rd fight in Mexico City, Mexico. And Steve Erceg's 3-2 in the UFC. With a loss, he goes to 3-3 in the UFC. And Brandon Moreno's 33rd fight. I'm letting you know what it is. The numbers are lining up for an easy win here for Brandon. The assassin baby Moreno. Let's get a bag. Let's get this money. Mexico. Don't know what's coming at him. A big thunderstorm. Rainstorm. Dog of the week was good last week. Good call. Good call. And good on you tailing the dog of the week. Chasing him with me. Helping me out. All right? Thank you. Dog of the week, Chris Duncan. He got it done. This week, Kelvin Gastelum. He's going to have to fight with that Mexican grit, determination, and durability to win this fight. Joe Pyfer's big. He puts boys in body bags. But so does Kelvin Gastelum. Look at the Michael Bisping fight. He looked very good in that fight. His wrestling is always looking very good. And I think his chances to win in this fight are looking very good. He went from a $5 underdog, which is what you're seeing, where I locked him in at, to a $3.40 underdog, plus 240. Incredible line movement, incredible closing line value, and crazy line movement. Like, that's wild. So join for $5 a month and get that early access. The locks of the week, when you join, they will be there, and the bet on them is there as well. The locks of the week, if you want them, they will be on the final forecast. That video, I'll have it out Friday morning, maybe Thursday. We'll see. We're getting this money in Mexico. You're going to want to be a platinum forecaster. Long term. Long term, if you know how to manage the bankroll wisely, we've been winning. We doubled up the bankroll. Make sure to check out my short video. Comment on that and help with the algorithm. I really appreciate that. And I almost forgot to do another giveaway. $100 giveaway. All what you got to do, put hashtag F3, put your lock parlay in, The lock parlay has to be odds of plus 100 or above. And in a tiebreaker, the most valuable odds will get the win, and they'll get their hand raised and sent $100. Let's take a look at the one winner so far this year. I've done the giveaway twice. Last week, no winner, no big deal. We're going to do it again. But Bryn Ray collected a bag. She was the closest one and the last one standing last week. I thought she was going to get it done. Didn't happen. She could get it done this week. She's going to comment her lock parlay. She's already hit one. $100 was already sent to her. I'm a man of my word. Give me your lock parlay with hashtag F3 plus 100 odds or above. And if you win, I'm sending you $100 in a tiebreaker. You got to have the most valuable odds. I'll give you my most valuable props of the week, my locks of the week on the final forecast. Please stay forecasted.